Hi everyone, it's Margaret with Creative Stamping with Margaret. Thanks for joining me today. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I like to share different projects with you. This project is from the August 2023, woo, that's a mouthful, August 2023 card class. For the month of August, Fun Folds was the theme, and this is one of the fun folds that we've done. Just this little modified front panel card. And we use the Seaside Bay Stamp Set along with the Seaside Bay coordinating dies. You will find those in the Stampin' Up annual catalog. If you ordered a kit to go, which I do offer my monthly classes as a to-go kit, so be sure to check out on my blog and contact me how you can order those my monthly kits. You will have received all the materials as far as cardstock, die cuts that you're going to need for replicating this card. You will just need to provide your inks and your own stamp set. For this particular card, you will need to pull out all of the shell stamps. We are not using the crab or the birds. You'll also need the Thank You for Everything stamp. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stamps in addition to the thank you stamp that you will need. The colors of ink that we're using are Misty Moonlight, Crumb Cake, Balmy Blue, and Pool Party. You'll also need a scrap of Balmy Blue, Pool Party, as well as Crumb Cake so that you can do the die cuts that are going to be needed. And the die cuts that we will need, you'll need the oyster shell, you'll need the 2 stamp or the 2 dies for cutting shells, and then the large and tall small grass. You don't need this second die because we're only using 1. Of course, you could cut 2 if you wanted and add that to the front of your card. You are also going to need your blending brushes, and we will need, oops, and I did not, let me grab mine over here. My blending brush, here they are. You'll need a blending brush. You'll need 2, 1 for the brown and 1 for the blue. So 1 for your blue background and 1 for the crumb cake. And just, I'm going to stop right here and let you know that all the materials that you need will be listed in the description of this video, as well as the sizes of cardstock, the cut sizes, as well as where any fold lines are, score and fold lines. So you don't need to worry about all of that. And just so that we could move along a little bit faster on this card, I did pre-cut my die cuts, and I have those on hand here. So I have the tall and small grass, then I have my large balmy blue, and then the 2 smaller Pool Party blue shells, and I have already stamped and cut my oyster, but I am going to stamp and that just to show you. So what we would do, and this is one of the stamp sets that you really don't want a super juicy pad. It's a distinctive stamp, and if your pad is real juicy, you might not get a good impression. So if that occurs, then just stamp off and then stamp on. But I have taken, and see how nice that image comes out. I have taken a straight edge, and typically I will use one of my blocks and I just push some of the ink away so that I get that nice impression. And then you would just take your coordinating die, take that to your die machine and cut that. So for our background panel, so other things that we have our card base, which is just a single piece of cardstock, and this is the Misty Moonlight. Then we have our layering panel, which we will stamp and create our background on. Then we have our panel that will go onto the front of the card, and this will go all the way down to the edge. I cut my sample just a little bit too short because I want it to be able to stand, and as you see it tilts, but if I have it the other height, it is if I have it as such, it will stand a little bit better. And then we have our panels. We have two pieces of basic white for our front and our interior. So let's start stamping. And of course, we've done the front of our envelope. Let's create our background first. And we will need all three colors of our ink. And we're just randomly stamping the shells. So I'm using crumb cake for our, I guess this is a clam shell or a mussel. I think I'll have this one goes like so. Set that to the side, and let's pour. You also need Misty Moonlight. I forgot that one. Let me open that. So then let's take our next largest shell, which is, and I'm not sure, that looks like a conch shell. So we're going to use Pool Party for that and just randomly stamp it. And I'm not worrying too much about the center because, as you know, we're going to be covering that. Through with the Pool Party for now. Then let's use the circular shell. I'm not good at shells, so y'all will have to forgive me. We're using this with the Balmy Blue. And then the smallest we are using with Misty Moonlight. And with the Balmy Blue, I am taking and I'm stamping randomly with the dotted stamp. Then the next step is to take your blending brush and the Balmy Blue, and you're going to want to start off on the edge and then just move onto your paper, and this will give us this nice background. And the reason you want to start off the edge is so that you don't have the big glob of ink. By doing this, you're blending that ink into your brush bristles of the blending brush, and then it just smooths on there. Goes on there much smoother. And while I have this, I'm just going to brush this across the edge of these shells. Just adds a little bit of definition. You really can't see it too much, but it does add just a little. We can go ahead and add this panel to our card base. We can add our center panel with the fold to the card. Let me just burnish that edge a little bit better. So there, that stands up much better, much better. Now we'll bring in our two other panels, and so for the interior of the card, we're just going to stamp the little seashell along the bottom, and we're using the crumb cake for that. And I've stamped that twice, and the second time I reverse the direction. So that's for the interior. For the front of the card, we want to take this up about halfway. We'll just angle these and put them at different places. A lot of it's going to be covered. And then I'm taking the blending brush and I'm going over where I just stamped so that it's like the sand on the beach. And we'll come back with the Balmy Blue and add our sky. Till it comes down to meet the sand, and it gets a little lighter as it comes down. So there. Let me just go back over the top a little bit more. For the sentiment, I used the Misty Moonlight. And this is a nice, just when you want to send a quick little short thank you card note. So now we will attach this to our front, and then we'll add all of the other embellishments. The die cuts that we've done. And I like to lay things out before I attach them just to make sure I get the placement correct. So we will add this to the lower edge of the left side. Now we'll add the other seashells. Just layer those. And now we'll come in with the small let me move that down a touch with the smaller grass. I guess it's really supposed to be seaweed, not seaweed, but some of the grasses that you see along the beaches. Let's add a shell down here. And then for our focus shell, which is the pearl, we're going to pop those up on up on a dimensional. I'm going to turn this shell just a little. I think I like it going as such. It's the nice thing about the liquid adhesive. It gives me a little bit more time to play with that. Now we're going to pull in our flat adhesive back pearls, and we're going to put a large one right in the center of that oyster, and then we'll put two smaller ones, just sort of add them around where you think a pearl might have fallen out of a shell, be lined. Oops, that one keeps wanting to stick to my finger. Look, I have ink all over my hands today. And then just for a finishing touch, I'm adding a linen thread bow up by the thank you, and I'm attaching that with a little glue dot that I have rolled into a little circle. So I hope you've enjoyed this fun fold card featuring the Seaside Bay Stamp Set and coordinating dies. You will find those products in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog, and be sure to look in the description of this video for all the materials used and the cut dimensions. And if you would subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.